were to look back 3 to 5 years from now and you were to say that this coaching conversation with me today changed everything for you, what would have to happen?
I think it would have to be a conversation that helped me, focus on, developing a growth mindset instead of having a fixed mindset in terms of LSAT preparation. Because right now, I think that's probably been the biggest barrier, because with me, I was very excited to, start college, but I think being here hasn't been the best environment in terms of like professors and coworkers too, because I work on campus at the legal affairs office. But just with the feedback that I've been getting from people, particularly in the piano performance major, it's more fixed mindset. If you're not doing good today, you get kicked out, even though you're trying really hard. So I kind of lost that. So I think, just being able to gain that back again would be
Gotcha.
great.
Yeah, that's extremely important. Yeah, mindset is so much a part of LSAT prep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing that stood out to me in the prep material you sent over for today's session is that you're trying to study while you're in college right now, spring semester, right?
Yeah.
When are you registered for the LSAT?
I'm not registered right now, but I'm planning on taking it in September.
Okay, so you've got a while.
Yeah.
You've got a while. And what are your plans for the summer?
I was just going to study, but I'm still figuring out how I'm going to be doing that. I applied. So, as I mentioned before, I'm a first-gen student, so we do have a program where you can apply for funding. So I applied for funding, and I'm waiting to hear back.
Okay. Okay, great. So you got the whole summer ahead of you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, studying for the LSAT while you're in college, are you taking a full course load?
As of right now, no, but with my extracurriculars, it does not leave a whole lot of time, which is why it's been particularly challenging this semester, because I wanted to get a head start with everything. But this program that I started is taking up a lot more time than I expected. And same thing with senior year, it's going to be very challenging, especially, in the beginning, getting everything together, because not only am I going to be running my mentor program, because we're working with both high school students and 8th grade students, but I'm also going to be the president of Prelaw Society. I'm currently the vice president. And then on top of being the president for Prelaw Society, I'm also starting an undergraduate law journal. Nice. And then I'm adding some more things and making some major changes in Prelaw Society, on top of working. And I'm a student ambassador, and I do all these other things too. But I think I'm kind of drowning. I put way too much on my plate. I don't know how to say no. Like, that's probably been my biggest challenge. Like, anytime, someone, offers me an opportunity, I have a fear of missing out, because, me being here, being a first-gen student, I want to take advantage of as many opportunities as possible. And so it's definitely had an effect on my health. But, great LinkedIn page and great resume, and I have a lot to talk about for law school applications, but it's more important to have a good LSAT score at this point. So I don't know. I think because I was trying to decide whether or not I should take that year off so I have that extra time to study and everything, but then I realized I wouldn't be able to get the funding for it if I wasn't a student at campus. Mm-hmm. So, or I could just focus on the LSAT and then worry about the application parts later once I graduate. But I think the best case scenario is just to do it now, because I have this momentum and I want to keep it up. And I feel like it would look bad if I go from doing all this stuff to taking a year off and like not really doing anything, working part-time and like nothing else. I'd have to find another major thing to do. So.
Gotcha. What would happen for you if you were to make the LSAT your number one or one of your top 2 or 3 priorities this summer in the lead up to the September LSAT? What would that look like?
I'm very disciplined with myself, so I think that's definitely something that I'm going to be able to do. I'm not going to be working at all over the summer. So for me, that would be having, well, I already do this anyway, but I have my days planned out hour by hour. And so
Excellent.
that's something that I would do over the summer. With sufficient breaks, obviously, for like time to go to the gym, which I think is important and something I love to do. But also, I laugh because that one email that you sent about eating Twinkies can help you. I eat terribly,
Mm-hmm.
but I also feel like, me being able to change my diet around would help me a lot
Yeah.
in terms of like my health too. So
It's
I
kind
don't
of
know.
funny. It's kind of funny. So we've got your number one priority, which, as you know, the LSAT is the most important factor in law school admissions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Undergraduate law journal, pre-law society, those are all fun. They're nice to meet friends and such. But as far as law school applications are concerned,
Mm-hmm.
they don't really care. It's mainly numbers. It's LSAT, GPA, and everything else. There could be other side benefits to doing those sorts of activities, but the numbers are the biggest part of law school admissions in contrast to undergrad admissions and other programs. And so for you, I would say that the activities, the extracurriculars, those are actually, those should actually be on your avoid at all costs list to distract you so easily. I used to love extracurriculars also. They're a lot of fun, they're social, and you're building things, you're creating things yourself, which as an undergraduate student to be like out in the world creating things is pretty cool. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you have to avoid them forever, but until you're done with the LSAT, if you are taking on roles and new opportunities and things, they're going to eat up all your time because they're a lot more fun. The LSAT, until you get the hang of it, it's difficult. It's taxing. So could you, for just this summer, make the LSAT your top priority and get it out of the way?
And without like doing any other work for my other things.
Could you at least block it off where, let's say, you have until June 15th or June 30th to do other things, but then July, August, and midway through September till test day, that's your focus. And I know that obviously the semester will start again, but the beginning of the semester, aside from like a little bit of a meet and greet with the other group members and such, is there that much you have to do? Could you delegate as a leader to other members of your group?
I think that's something that I can do.
Now, you said you're someone who blocks things off day by day, hour by hour. I love it because that's what I do too. I created LSAT schedules, day by day plans to break it down. And you're someone who's into schedules. So you might like Cal Newport's book, Deep Work, where he talks about how to get things done and avoid multitasking, avoid distractions. And so there are two ways to do that. One way is to go into kind of a monk mode where you go off by yourself for a few months, no distractions, no internet, nothing, and just focus. That's obviously not reasonable for most people or realistic. So there is an alternative where you block off chunks in your day, in your week, let's say 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. For those 3 hours, nobody can interrupt you, no internet, and you focus. And then 12:01 hits, you can reconnect with the world. But at least those 3 hours, it happens versus you suddenly get a text that there's a typo in the event flyer and then everything has to be rerouted, right? Everything has to be changed.
Yeah. I think I have lost my ability to focus particularly with this semester, just with the program and everything, because I'll be doing something and I get emails 24/7. I'm always stopping, responding to emails, or even just like walking from one place to another. I'm always like taking care of things on my phone instead of just being fully focused and mindful. And so that has been very detrimental to my overall ability to focus. So I can definitely do that. I know when I practice piano, I'll put my phone on airplane mode, or else it's not going to get done. But another thing too, I'm going to have to be preparing for is my senior recital, which is like a 2-hour solo concert that I have to do. So that on top of LSAT prep, I'm going to have a lot of blocked off monk time. So it's definitely something I can do, and I'm definitely self-disciplined enough. And I actually enjoy not being distracted all the time.
I love it. I love it. It's
Yeah.
funny because we all end up being distracted. Me too. But
Mm-hmm.
we all like the times that we're not distracted, right? So what we like and what we do are two different things. And it takes a little bit of self-control, honestly, discipline to put the phone on airplane mode, turn off the Wi-Fi on the computer, and actually just focus on the task at hand for a couple of hours. There's a great app, by the way, called Focus. If you want to use your phone in a productive way to actually help you focus rather than be distracted. So you might look into that also. It involves a technique called the Pomodoro technique, where you do work in chunks and you take breaks in chunks, so that you always know there is a break coming up. There is a chance to do something that's mindless for a moment, to check emails or whatever. But then it times you so that once the clock starts again, you're back at work with, in this case, the LSAT, the prep materials and such.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out.
I believe you can do it, especially because you mentioned you're a scheduler. If you put it on the calendar, it'll happen.
Yeah. I find the distractions come more like when I'm at work and I have a free moment. And so it's easy. I'll open a tab and I'll take care of some emails, work on some like planning stuff, and then I'll go back to doing my work. And then I'll go back to doing whatever is on my other monitor, Yeah. So, but other than that, I think I don't get as distracted with other parts of my life. It's just a matter of, having that time over the summer where I'm not going to be getting bombarded all the time.
Right. Well, I believe you can make it happen, Olivia.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. It's been a pleasure connecting with you. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course. And by the way, before we sign off, I'm wondering if you had any follow-up questions from last week's masterclass, because you joined last week, right? On the reading comp.
Yeah, that was really cool. I definitely didn't even think about the whole speed reading and, getting those resources was really awesome. And I'm going to be checking those out. I have a whole law school application timeline, and I have my delegated months with whatever I'm going to be doing. So in May, I'll be reading Mindfulness in Plain English. I've tried meditating since then too. I've been looking at all your other things on the LSAT Unplugged YouTube channel. And I don't really have any other follow-up questions. I just want to say thank you for what you're doing. And there's a lot of content here. You're awesome. That's it.